everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany. Joining me today, Fox and Friends First co-host Carly Shimkus, host of the Kennedy Saves the World podcast, Kennedy, Restoring America editor for the Washington Examiner and senior fellow for the Independent Women's Forum, Kayleigh McEnany, and Fox News contributor and columnist for The Messenger, Joe Concha. We begin with a call for America to get back to its founding ideal, freedom. That'd be nice. Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy is speaking out against the tyranny of the minority and the new culture of oppression that seeks to silence and punish people just for having a different opinion. Vivek made his case in an exchange with an LGBTQ activist at the Iowa State Fair, and since that, it's gone viral.
I'm personally pansexual, so I was just wondering what your views on same-sex couples were.
I don't have a negative view of same-sex couples, but I do have a negative view of a tyranny of the minority. So I think that in the name of protecting against a tyranny of the majority, and there are times in this country's history where we have had a tyranny of the majority, we have now, in the name of protecting against tyranny of the majority, created a new tyranny of the minority. And I think that that's wrong. I don't think that somebody who's religious should be forced to officiate a wedding that they disagree with. I don't think somebody who is a woman who's worked really hard for her achievements should be forced to compete against a biological man in a swim competition. I don't think that somebody who's a woman that respects her bodily autonomy and dignity should be forced to change clothes in a locker room with a man. That's not freedom, that's oppression. And so I believe that we live in a country where free adults should be free to dress how they want, behave how they want, and that's fine. But you don't become oppressive by foisting that on others. I think a lot of the frustration in the country, and if I'm being really honest, that I also share, comes from that new culture of oppression where saying those things can actually get somebody punished. And in my case, it's part of why it's my responsibility to say them. And I respect that you may have a different opinion, and that's okay. Part of what makes our country great is that you and I can be civil and have this conversation, and that we live in a country that still gives us, each of us, the right to speak to a presidential candidate and back, and still say that we pledge allegiance to the same nation. So I think that's the beauty of our country, and that's my honest opinion.
Powerful exchange. Carly, I think this should be a model for presidential candidates everywhere. He told the voter, I respect your difference of opinion. We all live under the same flag, presumably. That's the ideal. But nevertheless, he refocused the issue. The issue is when your freedom impinges upon the freedom of children, for example.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about all the conservative speakers who are shouted down on college campuses, which ironically is the birthplace of free speech. And this video proves that it doesn't have to be that way. Usually when you talk to somebody you disagree with, both parties do wind up walking away smarter because you either think about something that you haven't considered before, or you reaffirm your own position. So I love this video in this moment because it's a reminder of that. I also give a lot of credit to the LGBTQ activist for being so polite and shook his hand in the end. This video obviously going viral. It's been viewed millions of times on social media. One person said this guy, meaning Vivek Ramaswamy, is interesting, nice, and he isn't 900 years old, which I thought was a funny comment. Other people felt like it was so perfect, it was staged. And I think that's because people are so thrown off by civility that they're like, this can't possibly be real. To me, though, it read as authentic.
Me too. You know, Kennedy, I think it says something when it got 13 million plus views. I mean, that's enormous. People appreciate civil discourse. Like, we used to have this not too long ago. You could have different opinions and say, hey, we're all Americans. Like, let's go eat fried Twinkies at the Iowa State Fair now.
Yeah, and that's why you're seeing Vivek's numbers improve. And that's why he's on this very smooth upward trajectory. And that's because he's meeting people wherever they are, in every state, in every context. And he's fearless when he talks to people. And it really is, you know, you bring up such a good word. It is a model. It is a model for discussing things, not only if you want someone's vote, but if you just want to find common ground. And that's what he did. And I think that's really important. You know, finding common ground with this person and stating his beliefs, but also stating his desire to let this person know why he's having a hard time, why he's so fired up, why he's so passionate, why he's running for president. And that's how, you know, it's like we have seen families ripped apart, people we love most that we're related to that we can no longer talk to or be in the same room with because of politics. And, you know, for so long, people have gotten attention for being divisive. And here is someone who, isn't necessarily in the spotlight to bring people together, but that happens to be the follow through to what he's doing. Is he's showing people we can find common ground, we can talk to each other, we can have differences. And in those differences, we don't have to hate each other because we are all Americans. So can you imagine if he were vice president? I don't think he's going to overcome the deficit, but someone like this, able to articulate the points that he has, could you imagine, as someone like that representing this country? It really makes you think for a moment.
And Vivek's campaign confirmed for us it was a real, genuine, authentic interaction, though they are far and few these days. Joe, I also think it speaks to the importance of words. Words really matter. And speaking to the issue he was talking about, there's a lot of sensitivities. I understand that. It's a very personal issue. But when you look at this Washington Post KFF poll, I just want to show our viewers, watch how this polling flips. Okay, more than 60% surveyed do not want biological men and women's sports. More than 60% oppose hormone treatment for minors. 77%, these are huge numbers, think that you should not discuss sex identity in K-3 education. But watch how this flips. When you flip the polling and you say, are you against anti-LGBTQ legislation? 70% say, yes, of course we're against that.
Right.
So when it's framed in terms of culture war, don't say gay, you lose. When you talk about just common sense issues, children, you win.
When you're specific on the question, do you think biological males should compete against biological females? Leah Thomas in swimming, for example, ranked 500 and something when he was a man, then goes over to the women's side and wins a national championship. That makes no sense. It makes no logic. My wife ran Division I, Georgetown, Hoya Saxa. And she's not a political person. But when she hears this, she says, you know how hard it is to get to a Division I scholarship? You work your butt off, and then you look over down the line, and you know you're going to get beat because the person you're running against has legs like Saquon Barkley. And I know I'm not going to win because that actually is a guy. And that makes many suburban women angry, regardless of political affiliation. Let me go a little inside baseball for a second. Vivek Ramaswamy, we played that soundbite. The standard in this business, as we know, is to play a soundbite maybe 15, 20 seconds, maybe 25 seconds. You read the news every day. We played that for a full minute because that's how good it was. And you said, Kennedy, he'll meet people wherever they are. That includes television, by the way. He'll go anywhere. He is unflappable in interviews. He's passionate in his arguments. He's very respectful and civil and intelligent. I agree with you completely. That's a vice presidential candidate right there. If I'm Donald Trump and it's looking like he'll win the nomination, I get it's a long way to go, but the polling is the polling. That's the first guy I look at, because who's Donald Trump? An outsider. Who's an outsider also? Vivek Ramaswamy, very successful in the business world. He's worth over $600 million based on what he made in the private sector. So I don't see anything wrong with him. You want to tell me about age? I talk about maturity. That's a mature guy right there, Kayleigh.
Absolutely. And he did the flood the zone media strategy going on hostile networks with Don Lemon and Chuck Todd. And look, when Tim Scott did that and went on The View, it got a ton of attention. It was a huge moment. So it is a lesson to candidates.
Sure.
But Kayleigh, going back to the point, I hope we see more interactions like that, because when you're talking about winning persuadable voters, interactions like that win persuadable voters.
Absolutely. And I think that the other reason that this interaction is going viral is because the message that Vivek is talking about resonates with people. It reminds me a little bit of the viral Oliver Anthony song, who sings about living in a new world and an old soul and the tyranny of the minority. And this is how a lot of Americans feel. And this is on a number of issues, not just transgenderism, but take transgenderism, for example. About, 4% of the population identifies as a gender different than their sex. And yet the other 95% are being asked to give up their basic expectations of safety and fairness in women's sports and women's restrooms. They're being asked to accommodate new language standards, to use preferred pronouns, even if they disagree with this. And think about this on other issues as well. For example, climate change. About 30% of voters think that climate change is a priority that the government should be setting on top. The other 70%, what do we have to deal with? We have to deal with a federal government that is ham-handedly forcing new emission standards on us, forcing us to buy electric vehicles, trying to ban gas stoves. And we don't want any of it. So what he's talking about here is an important message that the American public agrees with, and they're tired of feeling oppressed and stifled on issues that used to be just common sense.
Yeah, I think that really crystallizes it. The tyranny of the minority climate change viewpoint taking over and changing all of our lives. So well done, Vivek, on that.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.